What is an imperative sentence? An imperative sentence is used to give the command or advice or request. Let me give you some examples of it. Put it down. Here, this type of sentence is giving the order. Let's look into another example. Don't eat too much. Here, this type of sentence is providing suggestion or advice. Let's look into one more kind of sentence. Please join me for dinner tonight. Here, this type of sentence is asking for help or request. So, these are the three ways in which an imperative sentence is built. It is to be noted that you is an implied subject in case of an imperative sentence, where order or command is given. In case of order or command, the structure of active voice is verb's first form plus object. Converting it to passive form, the structure becomes let plus object plus be plus verb's third form. Let's look into examples to clarify. Open the door. Here the structure is verb's first form plus object. Converting it to a structure let plus object plus be plus verb's third form, it becomes let the door be opened. Let's look into some more examples of it. Wash the clothes. Converting it to a structure let plus object plus be plus verb's third form, it becomes let the clothes be washed. Let's look into one more example of this kind. Bring a glass of water. Converting it to a structure let plus object plus be plus verb's third form, it becomes let a glass of water be brought. Do remember the structure of active and passive voice in case of order or command. Now, let's look into examples where advice or suggestion or a moral duty is given. Here, the structure of active voice is verb's first form plus object. Converting it to passive form, the structure becomes subject plus should be plus verb's third form. Let's look into an example of it. Respect your teacher. Converting it to a structure subject plus should be plus verb's third form, it becomes your teacher should be respected. Let's look into the next example of this kind. Love your country. Converting it to a structure subject plus should be plus verb's third form, it becomes your country should be loved. Let's look into one more example of this kind. Help the poor. Converting it to the structure subject plus should be plus verb's third form, it becomes the poor should be helped. Do remember the structure of active and passive in case of an advice. Now, let's look into examples where request or help is asked. Here, the structure of active voice is please or kindly plus verb's first form plus object. Converting it to passive voice, the structure becomes you are requested to plus verb's first form plus object. Let's look into an example of it. Please close the door. Converting it to the it becomes you are requested to close the door. Let's look into the next example of it. Please help me. Converting it to the structure, you are requested to plus verb's first form plus object, it becomes you are requested to help me. Let's look into one more example of this kind. Kindly pay your fees. Converting it to the passive form, it becomes you are requested to pay your fees. Do remember the structure of active and passive in case where the help or request is asked. Now that you are clear with various structures in case of imperative sentence, I am providing you an exercise to practice. Please convert the sentences to passive form and message me your answers in the comments. The sentences are: close the door, respect your elders, please do this work. That's all in today's video. Let's quickly revise what we learned in this lesson. First, we understood what is an imperative sentence. an imperative sentence is used to give the command or advice or request. Then we looked into the sentences containing each of them one by one. In case of imperative sentence having command, the structure of active voice is verb's first form plus object. Converting it to passive form, the structure becomes let plus object plus be plus verb's third form. And these were some of the examples of it. In case of imperative sentence having advice, the structure of active voice is verb's first form plus object. Converting it to passive voice, the structure becomes subject plus should be plus verb's third form. And these were some of the examples of it. In case of an imperative sentence asking for help or request, the structure of active voice is please or kindly plus verb's first form plus object. Converting it to passive voice, the structure becomes you are requested to plus verb's first form plus object. Learn how to convert an active voice to passive voice in case of an interrogative sentence. Please watch this video very carefully till the example number 1. Does he write a letter? Step 1. Convert interrogative sentence to assertive. So it becomes he writes a letter. Step 2 is to identify subject, object and main verb in the sentence. Here, who is doing the action? It's he. So, it's the subject. What is the action performed? It's write. So, it's a verb. And on what the action is performed? It's the letter. So, it's an object. Now that we have identified the subject, object and verb, let's move to the next step. Step 3. Swap. Now, we need to swap object to subject and subject to object. So, a letter will come in the first place and he will be turned into him and positioned last where the object was there. Now, in step 4, we need to convert the main verb to the third form. So, it will be written, right? Now, in step 5, we need to add a helping verb, so it will be is written, as it is in simple present tense. Now, if you read the sentence, it is a letter written him. Do you think the sentence is complete? No, right? That's where step 6 will come. In step 6, we need to add by before him. Now, the whole sentence is completed. A letter is written by him. Finally, step 7 is to convert the assertive sentence to interrogative. We will move the helping verb in the first place. So, the sentence will become like this. Is a letter written by him? Finally, we got the sentence into a passive form. I hope you are clear about all the steps. Let's look into the next example. Am I doing homework? Converting it to assertive sentence, it becomes I am doing homework. Applying the next 5 steps, the sentence becomes homework is being done by me. Finally, converting it back to interrogative sentence, it becomes is homework being done by me? Let's look into the next example. Did the cat? Applying the next 5 steps, the sentence becomes the mouse was killed by the cat. Finally, converting it back to interrogative form, it becomes was the mouse killed by the cat? Let's look into the next example. Will my father cook the food? Converting it to assertive sentence, it becomes my father will cook the food. Applying the next 5 steps, the sentence becomes the food will be cooked by my father. Finally, converting it back to interrogative sentence, it becomes will the food be cooked by my father? Let's look into the last example. Have you finished work? Converting it to assertive sentence, it becomes you have finished work. Applying the next 5 steps, the sentence becomes work has been finished by you. Finally, converting it back to interrogative sentence, it becomes has work been finished by you? I hope Now you will be able to convert a yes-no type of question to passive form. I am giving you an exercise for practice. The sentences are: is Shubham writing homework? Can anybody cure it? Will you help him? Please provide me your answers in the comment section. I will be waiting for your reply. That's all in today's video. Let's quickly revise what we learned in the lesson. First, we understood what is an interrogative sentence. An interrogative sentence asks a question. It is punctuated at the end with a question mark. There are generally two types of question: direct question and yes-no type of question. Then we learned the 7 steps to convert a yes-no type of question to passive form. The steps are: number 1, convert the interrogative sentence to assertive. Number 2, identify the subject, object, and main verb in the sentence. Number 3, swap subject with the object and object with the subject. Number 4, convert the main verb into the third form. Number 5, add a proper helping verb of to be form before the main verb. Number 6, add preposition by before the subject. And number 7, convert the assertive sentence back to interrogative form. Then we looked into some of the examples of it. And finally, I gave you an exercise to practice whose answer you will be providing me